Hello, everyone, and of course, thank you for joining me again for another awesome episode of Astrology in the News. Today being March 20th, 2018. And of course, we always begin the show with Yogic Wisdom of the Day, brought to us by the great and horny Osho. Courage is a love affair with the unknown. Haggis is the home of the brave, and of course, this is really where the unknown comes in. So if you're brave enough to try haggis, you know what? I don't even know what's in that stuff, but good for you, man. Or whatever. Hopefully your stomach does not look like that when you're done. Anyway, Karen McDougal is suing Trump as another model comes forward and says that she had sex with a billionaire, maybe a millionaire at the time. We still have not seen Trump's finances, but I guess that money train left the station about 6 months ago, you know. I mean, if you can't get a job, you might as well get your money from somewhere. But this is taking a look at her chart, and I will tell you one of the interesting things that I have been seeing recently in the people suing Donald Trump is the fact that they have their Mercury in the sign of Pisces here. Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Pisces here in a couple of days. And so I do not know Karen's particular ascendant, so I'm just going to take it at the moon here. So for her, Mercury being in the sign of, in the third house, this necessarily isn't a litigation house. Usually we look to the sixth house for litigation, but it does rule the sixth house of litigation. So we have the Lord of the third going retrograde that rules the house of litigation. I'm sorry, the Lord of the sixth in the third house in the sign of Pisces going retrograde, which I really think is a very interesting thing. Seeing like her and Stormy Daniels also has this going on. So, you know, and I also too, I saw yesterday that Andrew McCabe has his Mercury too natally in the sign of Pisces. So here we got three people in the news that are basically getting in trouble legally, not necessarily in trouble, but they're having legal issues with Mercury in the sign of Pisces. Really fascinating stuff. So now, an Uber hit a pedestrian, and this is very strange because this is like literally about 4 or 5 blocks from my house. And I mean, really, this really freaked me out because Skynet is coming! I think we're all going to be killed. I mean, it's got its first victim, so hey, unplug your technology. Bloop, 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 bloop. No, I'm just kidding. Because if you unplug your technology, you can't watch this awesome show, right? So, of course, let's take a look at the founder's chart, Travis Kalanick. And I believe, I'm not sure, I don't know if this is the douchebag on Shark Tank or not, but he is the founder of Uber. And so taking a look at his chart, one of the cool things about looking at founders' charts and people that have a lot of money is a lot of people want to know, why are they rich? So don't have an ascendant for him, but if I were to make a guess, he's got a couple of things going on here. Jupiter and Taurus, so really, oh, I'm trying to think here. So the signs that really, trying to think and I'm not succeeding. The signs that really rule money, Taurus and Libra, okay, because they're ruled by Venus. This is like pure wealth. Now, normally you need to attribute a house to this, right? So if I were to guess, he probably has his ascendant here in the sign of Libra, okay, because he has a Rahu in the second house, and really people that have Rahu in the second house are very successful with money. They're very good at business. He also has a lot of other leadership skills assigned to him, like Venus right here is not too far from the fixed star Regulus. It's probably about 1.5 degrees, so I would give it to him. But Mercury and Mars also tune the sign of Taurus, man. These people love to be the center of attention. They love to get stuff done. And I'm sure you've seen the problems at Uber. They're not necessarily very conscientious for other people, okay? So here we have this man who probably is being very successful here. And looking at his dashas, he's going through his Mars dasha. Mars is in the sign of Leo. Really, this is a pretty good placement for him. So not knowing his actual ascendant, if we're going to use the moon as an ascendant, this is in the 9th house. So usually this means like traveling, actually turning toward gurus and teaching. So I don't know if he's actually teaching app development, but that might be a good thing for him. Other than that, I'm trying to see if there's any prominent fixed stars here. And nothing that's too Hamal. That's actually pretty major. What does that say? Impetuous or keen on new ventures. Okay, so I could actually see Hamal being active in his chart, and that is conjunct the south node of the moon. And one thing to know about K2 creates a big black hole in your life. And wherever it is, people tend to throw all their attention to it, right? Because they need to fill that void. Something interesting, at least to take into account in his chart. Moving on, Hillary Clinton has a rough trip to India. Perhaps she should have consulted a Vedic astrologer in India who understands her chart. Anyway, so this is Hillary Clinton's chart. And so one of the things that I guess I have to say, one of the most interesting things about the last election is how many astrologers went into the pot for Hillary Clinton. I actually predicted Donald Trump's election in about May of 2016 was when I really saw it. I thought I had a really good inkling of it in like 2015, but I was just like, no, there's no way that it's this guy. And then upon further analysis, I'm like, okay, Trump's going to win. So looking at Hillary Clinton's chart, one of the things, I guess, one of the places where I saw people get it wrong is, first of all, we don't know her birth time, whereas Donald Trump, we do know her birth time. Or I'm sorry, her, well, I don't know. With all the girls he's been with, maybe he's flipping. He's probably going to be the next blonde-haired porn star, right? So anyway, we actually do not know Hillary Clinton's birth time. So it's very hard to make a presidential prediction when you don't know the ascendant. So the best that we could do is we could use the moon, and then of course we look to where her dashas are, and people have, I guess, rectified her chart, but unless we actually see it on the birth certificate, it's very difficult to detect. So if we're just going to go with dashas on their own, she was in her Sun-Venus period right over here at the time of the election. And if you take a look, her sun is debilitated in the sign of Libra along with Venus. Now, normally a Venus could actually help cancel a debilitated sun. But if the sun is debilitated, sun is the main karaka for elected leadership. And so a debilitated sun doesn't necessarily show very good for actually being in charge, being the head honcho. Usually that's a people like that are politically strong are Aquarians or Leos, okay? And Donald Trump is a very heavy Leo. He's got Mars as ascendant and another planet in there. I forget it off the top of my head. Another thing very interesting about Hillary Clinton is Mars and Pluto are conjunct, and she has a debilitated Mars in the sign of Cancer. These are people that have ravenous tempers. And it depends on, usually they know how to manipulate people well, for good or for bad. They can really take this and channel it into the correct thing. Now with Hillary Clinton, I bet if you get that lady in public and you piss her off, she's not going to be very happy. So what's going to be happening with Hillary Clinton? Well, as we can see, she's going into her moon dasha here, and probably in 8 to 18, so this August. Now, her moon is in Pisces, and so taking a look at her chart now, one of the things that we need to take a look at is her Navamsa chart, and her moon actually is in the sign of Cancer. So we're going to see her kind of change paths, maybe become more spiritual, more humanitarian, more people involved. I don't think she's going to be in politics anymore. So my prediction for Hillary Clinton is she is done with politics, and she's going to kind of go on more of a spiritual type path and trying to maybe mend fences too emotionally. I don't know, because I mean, if you take these two signs, you have the moon in Pisces, and you have the moon here in Cancer in the Navamsa chart. So when you put those together, you have two very very emotionally heavy and oriented water signs. And also it's also conjunct K2 here. So spiritual journey. Maybe that's why she was in India. I don't know. So that is all I had for you today. Once again, thank you for watching. And of course, all the contact information is below. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow for another issue of another episode of Astrology in the News. Thank you.